You're nothing more than a delusional dreamer, Elon. And your idea is just as ridiculous as you are. A fantasy wrapped in arrogance, doomed to crash before it even takes off. You think you're ahead of the curve? No, you're just a washed-up relic, chasing the ghosts of your past success. Elon stood at the head of the sleek conference table, his voice steady but tinged with passion as he unveiled his vision. A satellite-based global internet system, designed to connect even the most remote corners of Earth. The room was a fortress of glass and steel, filled with some of the world's most powerful tech executives. But before he could finish, a prominent investor cut him off mid-sentence. "This is delusional," the man said, his tone sharp enough to slice through the tension in the air. "You're out of touch, Elon. This isn't innovation. It's fantasy." The silence that followed was deafening. Every pair of eyes locked onto Elon, waiting for his response. His jaw tightened imperceptibly, but he said nothing, letting the critique hang heavy in the room like an unspoken verdict. Before Elon could regain control of the moment, another voice chimed in. This one laced with mockery. It belonged to Victor Kane, a rival entrepreneur who had long envied Elon's success. "Honestly, Elon," Victor sneered, leaning back in his chair with a smirk. "You used to be ahead of the curve. Now, you're just chasing headlines. Maybe it's time to step aside and let someone else take the reins." Victor's words landed like daggers, piercing deeper than any professional critique ever could. They weren't just attacking his idea. They were questioning him, his relevance, his legacy. Elon's hands gripped the edge of the table, knuckles whitening. For a fleeting second, those closest to him noticed a flicker of vulnerability in his usually impenetrable gaze. Journalists stationed along the walls erupted into action, their cameras flashing relentlessly as they captured every nuance of Elon's reaction, or lack thereof. One photographer zoomed in on his clenched fists, another caught the subtle twitch of his lips as he forced himself not to respond. "What a disaster," whispered one reporter to another, her pen scribbling furiously across her notepad. This might be the beginning of the end for him. The once perfect meeting had transformed into a media circus right before everyone's eyes. Reporters jostled for better angles, their whispers growing louder as speculation about Elon's downfall began to swirl. By morning, the world woke up to a barrage of headlines that painted Elon as a relic of the past. "Visionary or wash-up dreamer," read one tabloid cover. Another boldly proclaimed, "Elon Musk's time is up." Social media exploded with memes mocking his presentation, while critics gleefully dissected every misstep. "He's lost it," tweeted one tech influencer. "Innovation requires pragmatism, not pipe dreams." Even Elon's supporters hesitated, unsure whether to defend him or join the chorus of doubt. Fans posted nostalgic photos of SpaceX launches and Tesla unveilings, captioned with phrases like, "Remember when he changed the game?" On board his private jet later that evening, Elon finally allowed himself to breathe. He sank into the leather seat, loosening his tie as turbulence rattled the cabin. Outside, storm clouds churned ominously, mirroring the chaos brewing within him. "You okay?" asked Maya, his assistant, sitting across from him. Her voice was soft, almost hesitant. Elon didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stared out the window, watching lightning illuminate the dark sky. Finally, he spoke, his tone low but seething with quiet rage. "They think they can write me off," he muttered, "like I'm some has-been, but they don't know what I'm capable of." Maya leaned forward slightly, concern etched on her face. "Elon, maybe you should lay low for a bit, let things cool down." "No," he interrupted sharply, turning to meet her gaze. "They want a show? Fine, I'll give them something they won't forget." For Elon, this wasn't about salvaging a failed pitch. It was personal. Victor's mockery replayed in his mind like a broken record, each word digging deeper into his pride. He pulled out his phone and opened a secure messaging app, typing a single line to his closest confidant. "I need everything on Kane Industries." Now, as the plane soared above the clouds, Elon felt a strange mix of anger and clarity wash over him. This humiliation wasn't just an attack on his ideas, it was an assault on his identity, and he wouldn't rest until he proved them all wrong. Back on the ground, speculation reached fever pitch. Analysts debated whether Elon would retreat into obscurity or stage a dramatic comeback. Fans held vigil online, sharing hopeful messages under hashtags like "We believe in Elon." Critics, meanwhile, sharpened their knives, predicting his inevitable fall from grace. But amidst the noise, one thing was certain: the world was watching, and Elon knew exactly how to use that attention to his advantage. Elon's mind wandered as he stared at the blueprints sprawled across his desk. Memories flooded back, launching SpaceX rockets into orbit, unveiling Tesla's first electric car, each triumph celebrated with champagne toasts and roaring applause. But those moments were fleeting. Behind the scenes, there was always a prize. He remembered the late-night arguments with his ex-wife, Talia, her voice trembling with frustration. "You never hear," she'd said once, clutching their youngest son's hand. "Your dreams are beautiful, Elon, but they're costing us." The guilt still lingered. His children barely recognized him anymore, their faces lighting up only when he sent gifts instead of spending time with them. Fame had given him everything and taken just as much in return. In a dimly lit boardroom, Elon sat flanked by his inner circle. His trusted advisor, Marcus, leaned forward, his tone urgent. "Elon, you can't let this get personal," Marcus warned. "Victor Kane is playing you like a fiddle. If you retaliate now, it'll look desperate." Another advisor, Claire, chimed in, her voice softer but no less insistent. "Maybe we should consider damage control. A public statement could help shift the narrative." Elon's jaw tightened. He hated being told what to do, especially when doubt crept into his own mind. "No," he said firmly. "This isn't about PR. It's about proving them wrong." Marcus exchanged a worried glance with Claire. They both knew how dangerous unchecked ambition could be, but neither dared to push further. Back in his private office, Elon locked the door and pulled out a folder marked "Confidential." Inside were sketches, schematics, and notes scrawled in his hurried handwriting. These weren't just ideas, they were weapons. He pored over plans for a satellite system far superior to anything Victor Kane could dream of. Every calculation, every design tweak fueled his determination. Sleep became optional. Meals were forgotten. "You're going to burn yourself out," Maya murmured one evening, finding him slumped over his laptop. "I don't have time to slow down," Elon replied without looking up. "Not when everyone's counting me out," Maya sighed, setting a cup of coffee beside him. She wanted to argue, to remind him that even legends needed rest, but she knew better than to try. As weeks passed, rumors began to circulate. Critics claimed the public humiliation had broken Elon, while supporters argued he was merely strategizing behind closed doors. "He's unraveling," whispered one tech journalist during a live broadcast. "Look at the dark circles under his eyes. The man hasn't slept in days." Supporters countered, sharing old videos of Elon's greatest achievements. "Give him time," one fan tweeted. "Genius doesn't happen overnight." The media frenzy reached new heights, with every move dissected and debated. Was he planning a comeback, or teetering on the edge of collapse? Victor Kane seized the moment, announcing his own satellite initiative with a flashy prototype, grinning confidently. Cameras flashed as he stood before a sleek prototype, grinning confidently. "This is the future," Victor declared, pointing dramatically at the model. "Fast, efficient, affordable connectivity for all. And unlike some people, I deliver on my promises." The jab wasn't subtle, and the audience erupted in laughter. Victor basked in the attention, knowing full well that Elon was watching. Elon clenched his fists as he watched the live stream from his office. "Enjoy your 15 minutes, he muttered under his breath, "because mine will last forever." That night, an unexpected visitor arrived, James, Elon's oldest friend. "You're killing yourself," James said bluntly, pacing the room. "I haven't seen you this obsessed since, well, ever." Elon didn't respond immediately. Instead, he poured himself a glass of whiskey, his hands steady despite the storm raging inside him. "I can't stop now," he finally admitted. "If I do, they win. They'll say I'm done, irrelevant. I can't let that happen." James stopped pacing, his expression softening. "At what cost, though? Your health, your family. You're not invincible, Elon." For the first time in weeks, Elon hesitated. Despite James's plea, Elon doubled down. He worked through nights, ignoring texts from his children and calls from concerned friends. One morning, Maya found him slumped over his desk, his face pale. "You need to eat something," she insisted, placing a plate of food beside him. "I don't have time," he snapped, though exhaustion dulled the edge in his voice. Maya crossed her arms. "What good is proving them wrong if you destroy yourself in the process?" Her words lingered, but Elon pushed them aside. Proving his critics wrong wasn't just about revenge. It was about survival. Rumors leaked about Elon's secret projects. Whispers spread of groundbreaking technology that defied conventional limits. "It's genius," one insider reportedly said, "but also reckless. He's pushing boundaries no one else dares to touch." Speculation mounted. Was Elon on the verge of revolutionizing connectivity or spiraling into obsession? Headlines continued to paint Elon as outdated, overshadowed by younger innovators. Fans clung to hope, while critics sharpened their knives. "Elon Musk's era is over," wrote one columnist. "It's time for fresh blood." Yet, amidst the noise, anticipation grew. What was he hiding? Late one night, Elon stood alone in his workshop, staring at the prototype he'd spent months perfecting. "What am I doing?" he whispered to himself, running a hand through his disheveled hair. Was he fighting for redemption or validation? The line between brilliance and self-destruction blurred more with each passing day. Elon stepped onto the stage, bathed in a single spotlight that cut through the darkness of the auditorium. The hum of anticipation rippled through the crowd as cameras clicked and live streams lit up screens worldwide. His entrance was calculated, every step deliberate, every glance piercing. "Tonight," he began, his voice steady but charged with electricity, "we redefine what's possible." Behind him, massive screens flickered to life, showcasing sleek visuals of satellites orbiting Earth. The audience leaned forward collectively, their skepticism tempered by curiosity. With a dramatic flourish, Elon activated the prototype, a fully operational satellite system capable of delivering internet access faster, cheaper, and more efficiently than any existing technology. Gasps erupted from the audience as data streamed live, demonstrating speeds that left even tech experts speechless. "This isn't just innovation," Elon declared, his eyes gleaming. "It's evolution." The room buzzed with disbelief, turning into awe. Even Victor Kane, seated stiffly in the front row, couldn't mask his shock. But Elon wasn't finished. He paused, letting the silence stretch taut, before dropping his bombshell. "And now," he said, his tone shifting to something colder, sharper, "let's talk about legacy." On cue, graphics appeared on the screen revealing Elon's secret acquisition of shares in Kane Industries months prior. Murmurs turned into outright chaos as he explained how he'd used insider knowledge to orchestrate a hostile takeover. Victor stood abruptly, his face flushed with rage. "You're insane!" he shouted, pointing an accusatory finger. Elon smirked, unbothered. "No, Victor, I'm prepared." The audience exploded into a cacophony of reactions. Applause mingled with gasps of disbelief. Some cheered for the audacity of it all, others whispered furiously about ethics and fairness. Social media went nuclear. Hashtags like Elon Revenge and Kane Exposed trended instantly. Fans hailed him as a genius strategist, while critics condemned his tactics as ruthless and unethical. "He just dismantled Victor Kane on live TV," one commentator marveled during a breaking news segment. "Love him or hate him, you can't deny the man knows how to make headlines." Elon seized the microphone again, his expression fierce yet vulnerable. "They called me crazy," he admitted, his voice rising above the din. "They said I was out of touch, irrelevant. But history doesn't remember the cautious. It remembers the bold." His words resonated deeply, striking chords of admiration and unease simultaneously. "I won't apologize for pushing boundaries," he continued, locking eyes with Victor. "Because progress demands sacrifice." The crowd erupted once more, torn between reverence and discomfort. Backstage after the event, Elon slumped into a chair, exhaustion etched across his face. Maya approached cautiously, holding out a glass of water. "You did it," she said softly. "What's next?" Elon stared at the floor, guilt gnawing at him despite the victory. "I crushed him," he muttered. "But at what cost? How many lives got caught in the crossfire?" Maya hesitated, unsure how to respond. That night, alone in his penthouse suite, Elon replayed the events in his mind. Had he proved his critics wrong, or simply stooped to their level? He poured himself a drink, his reflection distorted in the glass. "Is this really winning?" he asked aloud, though no one was there to answer. The weight of his choices pressed down on him, hinting at deeper consequences lurking beneath the surface. As dawn broke, Elon found himself standing on the balcony, staring out at the city skyline. What does it mean to win? He wondered silently. If my legacy comes at the expense of humanity, is it worth it? For the first time, he questioned whether ambition alone could sustain him, or if redemption required something more profound. The morning after the livestream spectacle, headlines painted a divided world. Supporters hailed Elon as a master strategist, while critics branded him a ruthless opportunist. Social media became a battleground of opinions, with hashtags like Elon Genius and Elon Villain trending side by side. "He's a visionary who plays to win," one fan tweeted. Victor had it coming. Others weren't so forgiving. "This isn't innovation, it's manipulation," wrote a prominent ethics columnist. What kind of legacy is built on destruction? Amidst the noise, Elon scrolled through his phone in silence, absorbing both praise and condemnation. Each comment felt like a mirror reflecting not just public opinion, but his own fractured identity. Later that evening, Elon found himself face to face with his brother Kimball over a tense video call. "Elicto Quaramol, bro," Kimball said, clapping slowly, though his smile didn't reach his eyes. "But at what cost? You look exhausted." Elon shrugged, leaning back in his chair. "It's part of the game, Kim. You know how it works." "Does it have to be this way?" Kimball pressed, his tone softening. "You're brilliant, sure, but you're also human. Don't lose yourself in the process." Elon hesitated, unsure how to respond. For every ounce of pride Kimbo expressed, there was an equal measure of concern. A reminder that fame came with strings attached, even within family. Overwhelmed by the relentless scrutiny, Elon decided to escape. He boarded a private jet bound for a secluded estate nestled deep in the mountains, far from prying eyes and buzzing phones. For the first time in years, he disconnected entirely. No emails, no social media, no updates on stock prices or satellite launches. Instead, he wandered through dense forests, letting nature envelop him like a cocoon. Each step away from technology brought him closer to clarity. Or so he hoped. Guilt still lingered, whispering doubts about whether his victory had been worth the collateral damage. One afternoon, an old friend named Rachel arrived unannounced. She'd driven hours to see him, bringing along a bottle of wine and a willingness to listen. "You've always chased validation," she said gently, pouring them each a glass. "But when does it stop being enough?" Elon stared into his drink, avoiding her gaze. "I thought proving them wrong would fix everything. But now?" "Now what?" Rachel prompted. "Now I'm not so sure anymore." Her words lingered long after she left, forcing him to confront uncomfortable truths about his motivations and priorities. Days later, Elon received another unexpected visitor, his estranged son, Xavier. The boy carried a photo album filled with faded memories. Family vacations, birthday parties, moments before fame consumed their lives. "I miss this," Xavier admitted quietly, flipping through the pages. "Just us." Elon swallowed hard, guilt tightening his chest. "Me too, kiddo. I didn't realize how much I'd missed until now." Their reconciliation was tentative but heartfelt, reigniting a connection Elon hadn't realized he craved. Inspired by Xavier's visit, Elon spent hours reflecting on what truly mattered. Wealth and accolades suddenly seemed hollow compared to the warmth of meaningful relationships. What if success isn't about changing the world? He mused aloud during a quiet walk. What if it's about connecting with people and leaving something behind that lasts beyond headlines? The realization marked a turning point, setting him on a path toward personal growth and redemption. Yet, breaking free from ego-driven ambition wasn't easy. Nights were restless, haunted by questions about whether he could ever truly change. "I've spent my whole life chasing greatness," he confessed to Maya during a rare phone call. But maybe greatness isn't the point. Maybe it's about balance. Maya encouraged him, sensing the fragility of his newfound perspective. Change starts with awareness. Just keep going, Elon. Time in solitude allowed Elon to rediscover balance, not just between work and life, but within himself. Watching sunrises paint the sky reminded him of beauty beyond achievements. Listening to birdsong taught him patience. These small lessons accumulated, reshaping his mindset and preparing him for transformation ahead. As news of his retreat spread, public opinion softened. Fans admired his willingness to step back, speculating about what insights he might gain. Critics remained cautious but intrigued, wondering if this marked the start of a new chapter. Maybe he's finally learning, one journalist wrote. Or maybe this is just another act. Either way, we're watching. Before returning to the public eye, Elon began drafting plans to align his legacy with his newfound values. Ideas for sustainable ventures and community-focused projects took shape, hinting at a more empathetic and purpose-driven future. Readers sensed potential, not just for professional success, but for lasting impact, rooted in humanity. Elon stood before a modest yet attentive audience in a sleek auditorium, his expression uncharacteristically somber. Cameras rolled as he took a deep breath, ready to confront the consequences of his actions. "I owe you all an apology," he began, his voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. "What I did, how I handled things, wasn't right. Winning at any cost, that's not leadership, it's selfishness." The room fell silent, save for the faint hum of cameras capturing every word. Fans and critics alike were stunned. This was not the Elon they had come to expect. "I let my ego dictate my choices," he continued, meeting the eyes of those seated closest to him. "And while I achieved what I set out to do, it came at too high a price. For others and for myself." His admission rippled through social media like wildfire. Some praised his honesty, calling it courageous. Others remained skeptical, accusing him of orchestrating another calculated move. In a bold gesture, Elon announced that a significant portion of his profits would be redirected toward educational programs aimed at fostering young innovators. "These kids are our future," he said during a follow-up interview. "They deserve opportunities to dream bigger than we ever could, and maybe even fix some of the messes we've made along the way." The announcement drew widespread acclaim, signaling a shift from self-centered ambition to purpose-driven leadership. Critics who had once dismissed him as ruthless now grudgingly acknowledged his efforts to give back. "Maybe there's hope for him after all," one columnist wrote. "Or maybe this is just good PR. Either way, these kids win." Behind closed doors, Elon worked tirelessly to mend fractured relationships. He called Kimball first, inviting him to dinner without an agenda or ulterior motive. "I'm sorry if I pushed you away," Elon admitted over plates of pasta. "You've always been my rock, and I haven't treated you like it lately." Kimball smiled softly, raising his glass. "Apology accepted. But don't think this means I won't keep calling you out when you're being reckless." Elon laughed, the sound genuine for the first time in years. With Xavier, he spent weekends hiking, sharing stories and laughter. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, reminding Elon of the joy he'd sacrificed in pursuit of greatness. Public reaction remained divided. Supporters hailed his transformation as proof of growth and resilience. "He's humanizing himself," one fan tweeted. "We need more leaders willing to admit their mistakes." Critics, however, weren't so easily swayed. "This feels like damage control," argued a prominent journalist. "Let's see if his actions match his words over time." Social media buzzed with debates about authenticity versus strategy, highlighting society's struggle to reconcile Elon's past with his present. Gradually, media coverage shifted focus. Headlines moved away from scandals and controversies, instead celebrating Elon's contributions to humanity and innovation. From chaos to clarity, Elon Musk's journey toward accountability. Read one feature article. Another highlighted his role as a catalyst for conversations about ethics and mental health in competitive industries. Stories emerged celebrating his ability to inspire change, not through grand gestures alone, but through vulnerability and accountability. Elon redirected his energy towards sustainable ventures, emphasizing teamwork and shared goals rather than cutthroat rivalry. "We can't solve the world's problems alone," he told his team during a brainstorming session. "It's going to take all of us working together." This pivot reflected his commitment to leaving behind a legacy rooted in positive impact. Projects focused on renewable energy, education, and global connectivity gained momentum, earning praise from peers and competitors alike. By stepping back from constant media attention, Elon inspired others in high-pressure industries to embrace authenticity and humility. "It's okay to step away," he said during a rare public appearance. "Success isn't measured by how much noise you make, it's about the lives you touch." His decision sparked broader conversations about mental health and the importance of balance in achieving success. Elon's journey ignited discussions far beyond tech circles. Fans and peers alike reflected on their own struggles with identity and ambition, drawing inspiration from his transformation. "Accountability isn't weakness, it's strength," Elon remarked during a panel discussion. "Owning your mistakes is the first step toward real change." These conversations resonated deeply, encouraging others to confront their own flaws and strive for growth. Over time, Elon found a fragile but meaningful sense of peace. He learned to balance his drive for greatness with compassion for himself and others. "I used to think legacy meant achievements," he mused during a quiet moment. "Now I realize it's about connection. The people you uplift and the lives you improve." Readers witnessed the duality of his persona finally merging into a cohesive whole, the visionary leader and the flawed human being coexisting harmoniously. As Elon focused on fostering meaningful connections and contributing to global progress, his story became one of redemption and enduring influence. "He's not perfect," one admirer wrote online, "but he's trying, and that's worth something." His evolution served as a powerful reminder that true success lies not just in achievements, but in how we uplift those around us. Elon's journey served as a poignant reminder that even legends are not immune to inner turmoil. Fame had magnified his strengths, his vision, his determination, but it had also laid bare his flaws, the relentless ambition, the fractured relationships, the moments of doubt. "He's just like us," whispered one fan during an interview segment. "He makes mistakes, he feels pain, but somehow he keeps going." This duality, the dazzling innovator and the vulnerable man behind the mask, resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. It was a universal truth wrapped in the trappings of celebrity. No matter how high you climb, you're still tethered to your humanity. Through Elon's transformation, readers saw the power of authenticity. His willingness to confront his imperfections became a beacon for others navigating their own storms. "Vulnerability isn't weakness," he once said in a reflective moment. "It's courage. It's saying, I'm flawed and I'm enough." These words echoed far beyond his personal narrative, inspiring countless individuals to embrace their true selves despite external pressures. Elon's earlier missteps offered a sobering lesson about the emptiness of success devoid of moral grounding. "What good is winning if you lose yourself?" asked Rachel, his old friend, during a candid conversation. Her question lingered, prompting readers to reconsider what truly defines meaningful success. Was it accolades, wealth, or something deeper? Connection, purpose, integrity. Redemption emerged as a central theme in Elon's story, a testament to the bravery required to face one's imperfections head-on. "It takes guts to admit when you're wrong," Kimball remarked during a family dinner. "Most people wouldn't do it, but you did." Elon nodded, though the weight of his past decisions still lingered. Redemption wasn't easy. It demanded honesty, humility, and a willingness to evolve. Yet, it was this very struggle that made his growth so compelling. Over time, Elon transformed from a polarizing figure into a symbol of resilience. Acts of humility and purpose-driven actions reshaped public perception, turning critics into admirers. "He's proof that change is possible," wrote one columnist, "that we can rise above our mistakes and become better versions of ourselves." His evolution inspired others to seek connection over perfection, reminding them that growth often begins with vulnerability. Elon's story challenged audiences to view celebrities through a more compassionate lens. Beneath the glamour and scrutiny lay shared human struggles: loneliness, ambition, redemption. "We judge them so harshly," mused Maya, reflecting on her years working alongside him. "But they're just trying to find their way, same as us." Her words resonated, urging fans and critics alike to extend empathy to those under constant scrutiny. By embracing his true self, Elon redefined his legacy, not through achievements alone, but through honesty and impact. He didn't just build rockets or satellites, observed Xavier, his son. He built bridges with us, with the world. This shift resonated deeply, proving that authenticity could transform even the most controversial figures into sources of inspiration. Elon's story became a timeless reminder of resilience's enduring power. Adaptation, accountability, and redemption weren't just buzzwords, they were lifelines, guiding him toward growth. As readers closed the final chapter of his tale, they carried with them a simple yet profound takeaway. Success isn't about avoiding failure, it's about rising after every fall, and doing so with grace.